With his hands in his pockets, Jinwoo is talking shit to the boss as he summons the Shadow Gang to fight against his army. And all the other hunters are just shocked at what they're seeing. The boss wastes no time kicking off the action and sends his men to charge. This the Shadow Gang, come on, we stay ready. And Iron just starts sending them flying like his batting practice. Then Egress is just over here posing for the biddies. They're all surrounding him and he's just posing before dicing him up into pieces. That shit is actually disrespectful. You know it ain't a fight unless the king get in on the action. They all just going crazy while everybody just watches in awe. They're wondering why he hid his abilities to work with them as a porter. Jinwoo's just worried about the fight because other than Egress, Iron, and Tank, the rest of his soldiers are around B rank. They're really just getting destroyed by the orcs. He has to start taking them out faster, but as he's thinking this, big ass explosion happens behind him. He says, why are you being so arrogant with useless puppets like those? He says, you're the one being arrogant. As long as I have mana, they're just gonna keep reforming. He's like, yeah, but you're just gonna keep losing your energy. That shit gonna run out before you can take out my soldiers. He says, nah, you'll be dead before that, as he goes to attack him. Again, he just activates this shield and says, the more time you spend on me, the more of your soldiers you're gonna lose. He says, I don't know, I got a few strong guys on my side. You don't need to worry about me. He says, bet, I'll just destroy you all at once. It just causes like 8 separate flame explosions. Jinwoo's just like, damn, he really is the strongest I've ever fought. This isn't like the job change quest. I can use my inventory. He starts whipping out potions and shit to restore his mana. And bro's just watching him like, yo, ain't this fucking cheating? Jinwoo says, I will show you the unwavering domain of a necromancer. Arise. And the very orcs that he killed in this fight, he turned them into his own soldiers to use them against their boss. He says there still are a lot of you, but they will soon all be my shadows. And your big ass, you will too. They're seeing him do this, he's like, wait a minute, is this nigga the monarch? As their forces start to clash. If he's the monarch, then why are we even here? When we opened our eyes, a single order kept whispering in our heads to hunt down the humans, but he's having a whole mental break because Jinwoo is reminding him of a monarch? And he just like glitches back into the programming and says, we don't need any reasons, we just need to obey the order. Tells his troops to cut them all to pieces. He's like, oh, is this a battle between generals? Let's get it. So Iron starts boxing one of his top guys. He swings, but he blocks it. He just uses his strength to pin his sword to the ground and headbutts him, making him fall back. He can pile drive him through the ground with the hammer. It cuts to Egress, and you know he always got to do some extra shit. They try to run down on him, so he blocks the first one and uses the weight of the blow to flip himself up into the air. Pull out one of his secret daggers to stab Yo in the top of the head. He stomps it in deeper for good measure, so the other one tries to attack, but not only does he block it, he checked it hard enough to send him flying back through the air, right towards Iron, who is batting 1,000 right now, and cracks Buddy out the fucking park. Like, look at that swing, the follow through is crazy. Even Tank had to get in on it, tearing him to pieces. They like look at each other and give each other a thumbs up. Jinwoo's like, it looks like my generals are superior, but he's kind of bluffing because he's running out of mana faster than he can restore it. Once he runs out, he can't use his soldiers anymore. The rest of the hunters are watching Jinwoo work and are about to hop in to help him. Then they all get hit with some more curse magic. He says the audience shouldn't intrude on the stage. He tries to attack Jinwoo with the same shit, but it just doesn't work. None of the curses do anything to him. He's like, how are you brushing off my magic? He's like, bro, I told you I'm a bad matchup for you. He has that blessing that cures all ailments and diseases. Let me destroy that annoying shield of yours, as he gives the orb to one of his magicians. It sends this giant ass fireball at the boss. It does just break right through his shield. He's just like, this shit is ass. As Jinwoo is putting him on life alert, Ah-Hae-In pulls up with her cute little pickaxe and has no idea what she's looking at. Like, are these all summoned creatures? Even hunters that specialize in summoning can only use like 2 creatures at once. Jinwoo literally has a whole army. She starts asking the rest of the group, are they okay? Like, what's going on? The boss is over here cussing out Jinwoo and just losing his shit. It activates a bunch of abilities at once. Rage, strengthening, a gigantification ability, and combustion. Make himself into this giant orc standing over Jinwoo. Everybody else just yells to get the fuck out of there. He says, I'm gonna crush you all like insects as he stomps some of the soldiers. He's like, bro, I got bad memories with giants. You're touching my sore spots right now. Pause. He has completely exhausted his mana, so he can't summon his soldiers anymore. He says, damn, but the orc says, don't get so cocky because I played with you for a little bit. As he charges up this giant fireball, he shoots it at him and says, do I still look inferior to you? Jinwoo weaved that shit and got right next to him, just so he could say, yep, as he stabs him in the eye. bro, now you're just a bigger target. He starts slicing and dicing him all over. And it shows that Wu Jin pulled up too, and she explains that all these soldiers are Jin Wu's summonings. While Jin Wu is fighting and outspeeding it, he can't really land a critical hit with his dagger, so he puts it away and just balls up his fist. Says, yep, this is the best way to do it. Knocking him backwards, crash down in front of everybody, like bro's putting on a show. She's just surprised because her boss and the monitoring division already know about Jin Wu. He says, we pulled up to help out because the gate's measurements were wrong, but it looks like we weren't needed at all because Jin Wu just did this A-rank dungeon by himself. So she's like, bro, who is this nigga? What do you know about him? He's like, bro, I know him, but I don't know that much. The boss has finally been brought to his knees. He says the moment a magician loses his guards, he has no chance of winning, as he stands over him with his own soldiers. Like, nah, this is actually crazy. He starts to like scream out of anger. But I would too, cause bro, his own soldiers just did him in. And Jin Wu levels up twice. And his soldiers take out the ones that are left. You know what time it is. Arise. And he uses his shadow resurrection on the boss. Again, the rest of the hunters are just in awe at what's going on. But it works on the first try as he bows before him. He says, you're much quieter now that you're a shadow. He can't remember his name, so he has to come up with a new one. Just names him Tusk because of his teeth that stick out. Now that he's got the strength of the orcs, he can summon up to 127 shadows. He just saves the ones he can, and they all return to his shadow. Wu Jin's like, Jin Wu. He like, oh shit, I ain't even see all y'all. He just got too absorbed in the battle. Even Shay-In was here and he didn't notice. So they're asking him, what the fuck was that just now? And he's trying to find a way to explain it away. Then Wu Jin and the rest of his guards surround him, saying that this is a secret matter of the Hunter Association. Tell him that they'll guide him out of here to avoid further complications. Bro, you just shown a strength greater than S ranks in front of Korea's top guild. So we'll help you leave this place quietly. And Wu Jin tells the hunters that if y'all got any questions, just hit up the Hunter Association. The leader interrupts and says, hold up, I don't know why you volunteered to come with us, but let me at least thank you on behalf of our entire attack force, because without you, we all would have died. And Jin Wu gives the girl her will back who thought she was gonna die. She just laughs it off as Jin Wu gets escorted away. Shay-In's like, hey, damn, he came all this way and didn't even get a chance to speak to him. One of the girls asks her like, why did you bring a pickaxe? She's like, why? Did I look weird? And she says, to who? Never mind. Jin Wu got riz from a distance. Then it cuts over to Jin Ho, who's nervously talking to himself. He has to talk to Jin Wu about something, and they're meeting up at a restaurant. He came right from the dungeon, so his clothes look crazy. And he explains the whole situation with his father and how he found out about what he did in the Red Gate, which basically just amounts to him needing more of Jin Wu's help to become a guildmaster. He gives him all the decision-making power and tells him not to feel pressured. Jin Wu doesn't really look like he's about to say yes. Then it cuts over to Choi Jong-in getting the latest news about Jin Wu in the dungeon, how he went on a raid as a bag holder with one of his own teams. He says, I don't think he really had any intentions of helping us, but he didn't really have a choice. He's like, hold up, he can summon monsters, he's an agile assassin type, he can turn the dead into his own soldiers, and these are just the abilities we know about. He's like, hold up, compared to me, about how strong would you say he is? He's like, bro, I'ma just keep it a buck. We were all useless in that dungeon. My good sir, could you pass an A-rank dungeon all by yourself? He's just thinking that with that many monsters, defense is pretty much impossible. But damn, probably fucking not. It looks like my title as the Ultimate Hunter has become a joke. And he says, I have no place to tell you how to run your shit. You need to recruit Jin Wu at all costs. And he says, I'll try my best. As it cuts over to a bunch of paparazzi waiting outside the evaluation center. This young star hunter is about to receive his rank today. His name Lee Min Sung, and there's just a bunch of buzz going on about him. Both of these niggas pull up too, and they're just confused, asking what is all the fuss about. And they tell him, but he don't even know who Lee Min Sung is. They both pulled up strictly to recruit Jin Wu to their guilds. They start bickering back and forth. Yo said, I heard y'all had a close call yesterday. Obviously talking about the dungeon Jin Wu completed. But he says, well, at least we didn't lose an A-rank rookie like y'all niggas. But either way, both of their guilds have received help from Jin Wu, so they both want to recruit him. And he says, since we lost an A-rank hunter, we need to beef up our forces. But why do you need to enhance your forces with an S-rank hunter? Are you trying to start a war or something? He's like, well, what about you? What the fuck do you need him for? But then they get interrupted by this guy who's also an S-rank hunter and the leader of the Fiend Guild, asking if they're bickering over the young star Lee Min Sung. Boy, don't nobody give a fuck about his ass. The paparazzi sure do, cause they going crazy with the flicks. Then Jin Wu pulls up too, like, damn, why are so many people here? thinking that the cat's out of the bag, but nobody seems to recognize him. He just weaves around them and tries to find his way inside. He's stopped by this nigga talking about some, "Are you with the association?" asking him if he sees all the reporters here. You can't just pass through, but he says, "I have business with the association." He says, "You can't enter right now, go back where you came from." And the young star hunter is looking down on him as the guard is telling him to get lost. And someone says, "On whose authority are you trying to send him away?" It's the fucking chairman saying, "This man is our guest, Garp for the win." He says, "I'm sure you already know who's allowing you to have this press conference here." He takes Jin Woo and they go inside. Like, who the fuck was that nigga? He's ruining my debut. He tells his guard to go find out who the fuck that was. Now he's trying to fix the mood because all the paparazzi just seen what happened to him. Who got big time in front of his own fans. He says he's about to go inside to talk with the association about their scheduling. Before he can, a bunch of bodies shuffle in front of him and it's Woo Jin blocking the door with his guards. Another hunter is currently going through an evaluation, so until that is finished, please wait out here. He's like, "What, bro? I got an appointment at 11. It's still 30 minutes left. You gotta let me in. I already scheduled this shit, and the chairman should already know about me." He says if your evaluation is at 11, then just enter at that time. He's like, "Bro, don't you know who I am?" Because apparently his father makes a bunch of big-ass donations to the association. "Don't you see all these people? You dare ignore me in front of all these cameras? You handle the consequences that result from doing this?" And he just looks him in his face and says, "Yes, I can." He's like, "Bro, what? Are you saying he's that amazing that I can't even go in?" He takes off his glasses and says, "If I were to tell you, would you be able to handle the consequences?" He just quietly shuts his bitch ass up. Now Jin Woo's walking with the chairman and these two are just bowing as they walk by. He says they've been here for an hour waiting on you. For taking him into this secluded room, he can demonstrate his abilities for the association. He says, "I can do something like this," as the shadows start to move. He just pulls out one of his soldiers. The chairman's like, "Jin Woo, is that really the extent of your abilities?" He's like, "Well, a lot of people did see, so there's really no point in hiding it." He really starts to summon the gang and bro is just shook. These two are outside, but they can still feel the energy shift. He tells them that he can summon about 100 creatures. And they're just looking around like, what the fuck? Baek Yoon-ho can feel the difference from when he felt him before. He's completely overwhelming now. And as he comes outside the room, we see he got his S-rank hunter's license. We up! He asks if he can spare some time, but Jin Woo says he's still got something to do as he just tries to get out the door. But they say, "I wouldn't go out that door if I were you." And he's like, are they trying to say there's a deal that I'm gonna miss out on if I just leave? He just continues to leave anyway and is met by a bunch of flashing cameras. Boy is a movie star. And they say, "I told you so." But this shit live on TV and the students are showing his sister like, "Yo, your brother going viral, gang." And she's like, "What the fuck is this?" Before Jin Woo came out, the Lee Min Sung nigga was talking to the press saying that regardless of what his rank was, he would do his best to protect citizens. He's just hyping himself up to the paparazzi and trying to build his own name. And the whole time he already knows his rank. He's been confirmed to be an A rank. He's just lying to play the press and spin the story. And a bunch of the reporters start getting calls and even ask him a question. "Is it true that the 10th S-rank hunter has been announced?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" It's all over everybody's phone. Jin Woo's really taking over. Like wolves, all the reporters turn to try and find Jin Woo. And they can't pass up the opportunity to get the news on a new S-rank hunter. They all just leave bro on the ground and he's like, "What? A S-rank? What the fuck are they talking about?" He calls out to one of the reporters, but he says, "Don't worry, I'll text you later." He gets back on his phone to try and get more news about Jin Woo. They all run over and crowd the door. That's when he walks out, when they were literally all waiting for him. Mining crew he worked with seen it. He who's back with her mom seen it. Mr. One-Arm Sung seen it. Even Jin Ho's dad seen it as they were having a conversation, asking if he was successful in recruiting Jin Woo to their guild. At their last meeting, Jin Woo declined. He wants to start his own guild and offered Jin Ho the position of vice master. His dad is shocked, but then he just starts to laugh. Asking, "Do you know why I wanted to create a guild?" And he's like, wasn't it for money? He's like, "Nah, dummy, I already got plenty of that. I was doing this to protect us." The power and influence of hunters is growing every day. There are even cases of one hunter's influence and power being equivalent to that of an entire nation. These hunters have surpassed S-rank and are nation-level hunters. And with some countries treating them like kings, how long do you think the law and government can truly protect us? I wanted to gather trustworthy hunters by creating a guild, dependable hunters that weren't drawn in by money or personal connections. You seem to have already found such a person. He tells him that he's passed and that he'll leave the guild to him. Even though this was what he was trying to get all this time, he says, "I'm sorry, Dad, but I don't think I can do that. I'm gonna join Jin Woo's guild and become his right-hand man." All the reporters are still going crazy, just trying to ask Jin Woo questions. Bro's like, "Don't worry about them, you'll get tired of it. we're gonna escort you out of here. But then Jinwoo uses his flash step and says, I'm fine. Bro is already behind the crowd. Everybody turns around like, what the fuck? And Jinwoo just dips off. Choi Jong-in is like, damn, a nigga that can summon monsters and move like that? Bro's like, yeah, he's fast as shit, but that's not the problem. My eyes couldn't even track what he just did. And the magical energy that came from the evaluation room, like, he's strong as fuck. Noticeably stronger than he was before. He's like, damn, he could definitely beat our ass right now. His double awakening should have happened a long time ago. Like, how is he still this strong? But that's when he starts to put it together like, wait a minute, it might not be a double awakening. I think Jinwoo can continuously grow stronger. It shows that Hwang Dong-soo got the news as well, so he's about to try and do some lurky ass shit from the cut. So Jinwoo needs some new equipment to go back into the flaming dungeon. So he came to this store to sell the orb he had so he could get something else. And bro's sweating cause he ain't ever seen no shit like this. And he asks if he wants to auction it off, but Jinwoo says he'll think about it. Cause really he just wants to get some artifacts that have fire resistance. And he says they're expensive, but they aren't hard to come by, as he takes him back into this room where they got all different types of armor in these glass cases. So he's like, is it safe to just have this stuff here without any special security? But he says that the glass is reinforced with magic, so even an A-rank hunter couldn't break it. And he says you can try it out, and if you break the glass, you can keep the artifacts inside. So Jinwoo's like, hold up, free shit? Don't mind if I do, as he really winds this shit all the way up. But he's like, hold up, I was just joking, yo. And if you break this, a bunch of hunters are gonna come running. So Jinwoo's just like, ah, damn, and goes to check out the daggers they may have. But bro notices that he cracked the glass without even touching it. But the whole time Jinwoo's here trying to see what they got, he's realizing most of this stuff is overpriced and not as good as the weapons he already has. And since the items in the store fetch such a high price, he's not gonna have to sell the special orb he got. But then it cuts over to Baek-Yoon-hoo, still trying to wrap his head around Jinwoo. Because when he seen him back at the Red Gate, he was stronger than him. But now I can't even fuck with him. He can just keep getting stronger. So now he just feels dumb for trying to recruit him, because with that ability, you can just create your own guild. There's no need for him to join the others. And if he can just keep growing, wherever he ends up, he's gonna be the strongest. And it cuts over to Jinwoo's apartment, and a bunch of paparazzi are outside, and his sister's just looking out at them, surprised they haven't left yet. But then they notice and start taking pictures of her, so she ducks back down to hide. Now he wants to tell them to get the fuck, but she doesn't want them to do that because they're already talking bad about him in the media because of the way he just dipped out of that last press conference. But then somebody knocks on the door and he's like, oh fuck no, I gotta talk some sense into these niggas. But as he opens the door, it's just Jin-ho with a backpack saying that his dad kicked him out because he refused to take over his father's guild so he could join Jinwoo's. So he came by to see if he could stay at his place for a while, but Jinwoo just slams the door in his face. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta figure that one out on your own. Then it cuts to Jin-ho's parents, and his mom's like, aren't you being too harsh? But he says, nah, if he wanted independence, he should have done it under his own strength. But as he's talking, he starts to sweat, and he looks at his wife and starts to see double before just collapsing to the ground. Now, Jinwoo's about to step out for the night, but he doesn't want to just leave his sister alone, and he summons 3 of the high orcs that are equal to an A-rank hunter. But he's like, wait, where's the last one? Because there were originally 4 of them, but he forgot he just left one of them dangling from the ceiling in the dungeon. And it's funny how expressive they are, because they're like, bro, you killed him. But then he orders them to watch over his sister and keep her safe, and the soldiers literally just hide in her shadow. And he says, while I'm at it, I might as well protect the neighborhood. So he summons a few more of his soldiers and tells them that they're the neighborhood watch and to not be noticed by any regular people. So he really just sends them out to constantly patrol over the area. Bro is actually a one-man army, and as long as no A-rank hunters pull up, his soldiers can't be beaten. So any criminals in the area are fucking cooked. Now the next day he's riding with Jin-ho and they're just chatting. Apparently he found a motel to stay at, and Jin-woo's just thinking about how crazy it is that he really left a guild that was handed to him to follow him. But hey, I can't make fun of my biggest supporter. So Jin-ho asks him where he's going today, but while they're driving, he just says, I'll be going, and opens the door and is just gone before he knows it. And he's right back in the flaming dungeon where he last left off. But this time he got a cloak and a ring to protect him from the fire, as it tells him that a new quest has arrived. He's got to defeat the Demon King, and the rewards are plentiful. 30 bonus stats, a hidden reward, and the highest quality runestone, which would give him another job-specific skill, something else to do with the shadows.